My name is Jennifer Robinson. My skater name is Foxxi Brown, numbers 91. I've only so far skated with 2 leagues, and that's in the Kansas City, Missouri slash Kansas City, Kansas area. That's Fountain City, also known as Dead Girl Derby. And then my most recent is Kansas City Roller Warrior. So I've been skating since 2012.
I will admit, I am one of those people that will say, I hate it when Foxy is playing against me, but I love it when you're on my team.
Right.
I remember we were so excited to have you on the All-Star team. You tried out, you made the team, and I, for one, was like, yes, I get Foxy as a blocker. And I was so excited. And I remember a specific incident where we were like going nuts because you were doing the hair flip. And I remember asking you because I think it was at the tournament. So it would have been the tournament that we were at as a team, where we ended up we made it to champs. Yeah. And you had gotten kind of emotional and were like, I used to hear a lot about the hair flip. And we were like, yeah, you're like, people are gonna see that and they're gonna be like, oh, that's amazing, that's her signature move or whatever. But you had told this story about how it was sort of like, that's how you're going to put it behind you. You get a bad call or something you don't agree with, you would put it behind you by flipping your hair.
Correct.
I wondered about that though. Like I think a lot about that story, and I think about how you told it and the fact that you would get in trouble, I think, in your old league for doing it, and that people would make comments about it. I wonder now, do you still do that? Is it still something that you embrace? Is it something that you were able to kind of work through? Or do people still kind of get attitude about it, and why? What's the issue?
So when I first started doing it, well, let me first say that I've been an athlete since I was a little girl. So anytime I started any type of sport, whether it was volleyball, basketball, track, I was just naturally good at it. So once I started to go forward with roller derby, the last time I had skates on my feet was maybe in the 7th grade. So I'm stepping up, deciding to join this roller derby league of just, mainly all white women, like nobody really looked like me. And I'm skating with these women who had years on me. So when I was dribbling a basketball, they were figure skating, or they were skating like they've had years and years and years on me, And so I'm starting a new sport. So I'm starting at the lower level, which is something I'm just not used to doing. So I knew that in order for me to get past that, because in my mind, it was such a big mental block. Like anytime I would step on the line, I'm like, I don't even feel qualified. It's like most of these girls have so many years on me, And so they would initially see me and they would just automatically see me as a threat. Although I had yet to lose my, what do they call it? Bambi legs, you know what I mean? So, right. And so during the course of losing my Bambi legs, like finally figuring out, hey, if I use this and this and this, and if I use my hip, I can make people fly. It's like I'm still in the process of trying to figure out how to play this sport. So in the process of doing that, I was sent to the box a lot. And that's just because when it's all said and done, I used to be a basketball player. And the one thing about being a basketball player is you got to get wide, elbows out, hands out, Yep. And so coming from that sport to this sport, to where you have to tuck all that in and you can't follow through and you can't do that. In the beginning, I struggled with that. And so I would be sent to the box a lot. And for the longest, I would take it personal until I saw footage of myself. So what I would do, I would just hair flip on my way to the box, and it was something only for me. It was something to kind of reset myself, to have, what do they call it, jamnesia. So I'm like, on my way to the box, just like, oh, whatever, whatever. And other skaters would see that. I'm like, oh, is she flipping her hair at me? And it's just like when it all started, it had nothing to do with you. Like
Right.
it was something I did for me, so I can just reflect. Like I can just reset everything. So as I'm sitting serving my time in the box, I can step out with a new mindset rather than sitting there upset, like, oh, I can't believe this, I can't believe that. So it was just mainly a reminder to just, on to the next, let's not focus on that. And so that's when it first started. And then from there, it just kind of morphed into something else. And people were thinking that I was doing it towards certain skaters or towards the refs. And it's just like, I'm not going to go to each person and say, hey, this is the reason why I do this. This is the reason why, So, I mean, that's basically how the whole hair flipping started.
Is it frustrating that nobody asked?
No, nobody
Really?
asked.
No?
Nobody asked. So
Okay.
it was frustrating at first until I got to a point to where I realized that I didn't owe anyone an explanation. It got to a point to where refs were saying, hey, you can't do that. You can't do that. And it's like, well, at the time I was skating made. And I was like, it doesn't say anywhere in the rule book that I can't take my hair, take it from this position and place it there. It doesn't say that. It only irks you because I'm doing it, and I'm doing it after you sent me to the for me. And it's like, so you want me to pull you to the side and kind of explain this to you when I didn't have to. It was written nowhere in the rule book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, there's no rule against that in WFTDA. There's no, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So I think that's one of the things that I remember the most when you came into the league, and just being like, why is that an issue? I just didn't understand it. And it sounds like, it's just one of the things you started to experience.
Basically. And if you think about it, like I went from May to WFTDA. That to me, it was like night and day.
Right.
So I basically had to start all over again. So I was thinking, okay, instead of me getting frustrated, what did I do in May to get me past that? And it was the whole hair flipping thing. And it was something I was doing for me. Although the fans loved it, the fans caught on to it and was just like, oh, hair flip. It was just like, well, okay, listen, if the fans enjoy it, this is how we keep our lights on. They pay our bills, so be it, And so, and I just feel like certain people kind of took offense to it, like, oh, she flipped her hair at me. And it's just like, oh, sweetie, no, not everything is about you.
Right.